Hey guys, welcome to the Ostarine presentation. My name is Chris from SARMs.io, and in this video, I'm going to be teaching you everything you need to know about Ostarine, including how to use it to improve your conditioning, improve your physique, to look better, to get stronger, gain muscle, lose fat. It's all in here. Now, real quick, there's a link in the description that takes you to the Ostarine article and write-up on the SARMs.io website. It's really beneficial if you keep this presentation running, click the link. You can actually follow the write-up as I'm talking, as I'm explaining all these things, because we designed the video to follow the structure of the write-up. So it's a really good way to soak up all this information. It is a lot. So we're going to jump right into it. What is Ostarine? Ostarine is a SARM. SARMs are essentially, they're similar to anabolic steroids, but they lack a lot of the side effects that come along from using those powerful androgens. Now, Ostarine in particular has a very strong anabolic effect. It's great at helping promote muscle mass gains and also preventing catabolic effects, basically losing muscle. If you're on a caloric deficit, Ostarine will prevent you from losing muscle. And it was created by a pharmaceutical company. It was created by GTX to specifically treat these muscle wasting disorders and conditions. So think chemotherapy patients, people with osteoporosis. Ostarine was created to prevent those patients from losing muscle mass due to their condition or due to the treatment that they're currently doing. Today it's sold online as a research chemical. Without going too much into that, people ask me all the time, why is it sold not for human consumption? Well, essentially, it is not illegal to buy or sell or use Ostarine, but it is against the FDA regulations if you sell it for human consumption. So companies basically just label it as a research chemical in order to get past those regulations. And in order to stay legal and to have a legal business, that's what they do. They label it as not for human consumption, and therefore they're not subject to FDA regulations. And Ostarine is definitely one of the most popular SARMs in the market. Let's go ahead and jump into why. So number one, it's very mild. It's great for people who have been lifting a long time, but it's also great for somebody who just wants to get their feet wet with performance enhancing drugs. It's very mild, so you can run it for longer periods of time than you could with anabolic steroids like the oral ones like D-Bol and Superdrol and that kind of stuff. You can run Ostarine for much longer times because it's much more mild. It's also extremely versatile. This is probably my favorite thing about Ostarine. It's one of those SARMs that you can get and just have it on hand all the time because you can use it for a bulking stack or a bulking cycle rather. If you're trying to gain muscle mass, you can use it for that. You can also use it for cutting and for losing body fat, for shredding up for the summer. It can be used for both of those things. And it's also great for athletes and people who just want to improve their performance, run faster, jump higher, lift longer, that kind of stuff. Ostarine is great for basically all the above. You can use it for everything. It has very low viralization in females, which means that it's safe for women to use as long as they're using it in appropriate dosages. You're not going to see the kind of side effects that you get from using steroids if you're a female. So you're not going to get an Adam's apple. You're not going to get deepened voice. You're not going to get body hair growth, that kind of thing. And it's also great for guys if you're worried about side effects, especially those androgenic side effects. Ostarine doesn't really have a whole lot of androgenic side effects. So, generally speaking, it's pretty safe on the hair. It's not going to shred your hairline. You're definitely not going to get gynecomastia because it does not aromatize. So you're not going to get man boobs or anything like that. The main thing is that you're going to get overall improved physique. People who are on a bulk cycle using Ostarine, it's not uncommon to see 7 to 10 pounds of muscle gained on a cycle. Fat loss, Ostarine does not directly burn fat, but it allows you to cut calories without losing any muscle mass. It also allows you to really push your cutting cycle to the point where you're burning a lot of fat because you're only eating 1,000 calories a day. And if you're taking Ostarine at an appropriate dosage, you're not going to lose any muscle while you're going through that kind of extreme cutting cycle. So a lot of people love it for that. And then obviously, like I said, strength gains out the wazoo. You're going to be lifting longer, harder. You're not going to be nearly as tired during your reps and sets. And you're going to be able to push yourself a lot harder than normal, which is going to lead to strength gains, but just gains all around because you're going to be able to go a lot harder than normal than if you weren't taking Ostarine. Let's jump into some of the side effects here. I'm going to list them in order of most severe to least severe. I just want to throw out that there are very little side effects of Ostarine. If you look at the literature and the science and the studies that they've done on it, very few people had any side effects. Very high safety profile, very safe drug when used appropriately, and most people don't experience any side effects. I've never experienced any of these side effects when I've used Ostarine. I've ran it multiple times. People that I know personally have not experienced any side effects, so don't be too scared. With that being said, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't at least mention them. So side effects include depression. Now, I debated whether even putting this in this presentation because I've only seen it once. With that being said, the guy who ran this Ostarine cycle, he was reporting like crippling depression, like didn't want to wake up in the morning. You know, I feel like I should mention it just in case. With that being said, like there's no telling what this guy was taking in addition to Ostarine, or whether he even had legit Ostarine. I'm going to be telling you a little bit down the road here how often this SARM is faked. And a lot of times, you know, if you're getting sold a fake SARM, it's actually D-ball or Superdrol, yeah, you're going to have depression because you're nuking your testosterone levels. So I don't buy the whole depression thing, but I did want to mention that. And I've only seen it once out of the hundreds of pieces of literature and logs that I've reviewed. Second one, hair loss. Again, Ostarine by nature shouldn't have any androgenic properties, so hair loss shouldn't happen. And the people that I've seen pictures of that have hair loss, they already had pre-existing hair loss before they started their cycle of Ostarine. You know, so my opinion is that they were going to lose their hair anyways. They were already losing hair, and maybe they just noticed it a little bit more on Ostarine, and maybe Ostarine did accelerate it a little bit. But I can tell you, I do have male pattern baldness. I do have a receding hairline, and I never experienced any hair loss with Ostarine, or shedding, or increased shedding, as some people refer to it. So like I said, I'm going to mention it. It might happen, but most likely not. And if you don't have a receding hairline, just don't worry about it. You're not going to lose your hair on Ostarine. The main thing is just lowered energy levels, because Ostarine does lower your natural testosterone levels. The good news is that Ostarine does not suppress the what are called building blocks of testosterone in the body. So it doesn't suppress LH or FSH, which are the building blocks in your body that your body uses to create sperm and also to create testosterone in the body. Ostarine doesn't suppress those levels. Anabolic steroids do, which is why you need a post-cycle therapy for anabolic steroids. They suppress LH and FSH. So the post-cycle therapy, it's not to increase your testosterone levels, it's to get your body making those building blocks again, so therefore your body can convert it into testosterone. But Ostarine doesn't suppress those. So temporary suppression of testosterone levels, yes, but typically recovers very quickly after cycle, even without a post-cycle therapy, because those building blocks were never shut down in the first place. So dosage guide, main thing guys, start low, ramp up. Always follow this advice. Your first week, take like half a dosage of what you want to ramp up to and see how your body reacts. Adjust as needed. Do not just go right into 25 or 50 milligrams or anything crazy. Start low and just ramp up. Since Ostarine is so mild and so versatile, you can run it for long periods of time. So there's no reason to jump right into it. The other thing, cutting cycles don't require the high dosages that you're going to see with bulking cycles, because cutting cycles, your main goal there is just to prevent muscle breakdown and those catabolic effects. So you don't need nearly as high a dose, and the literature and studies back that up. For bulking, start at 10 milligrams, increase up to 25 to 30 milligrams. Some people go as high as 50. I never found any kind of benefit from going as high as 50, even though I did, other than just it hurts your wallet more because you're using twice as much as what the adequate dosage is. Typically 25 milligrams, up to 12, even 16 weeks is fine. People run it anywhere from 4 to 16 weeks. I would say 8 to 12 weeks is right where you want to be. 16 weeks is kind of pushing it. Cutting dosage, kind of same thing. Start at 10 milligrams. I would stay at 10 milligrams if you're just trying to retain muscle mass. If you're dead set on gaining a few pounds of muscle, and like I said, 3 to 5 pounds tops while you're cutting, then yeah, maybe increase Ostarine to like 20, 25 milligrams, but it's really unnecessary, and it's kind of a waste of SARMs to do it that way. For cutting, depends on obviously how hard you're going and how much cardio you're doing and how low you're taking your caloric intake to. But you know, it's going to depend on those factors, anywhere from 4 to 12 weeks. If you're doing like a suicide cut, yeah, 4 weeks should be great. If you're doing like a more moderate deficit of like 500 to 1,000 calories, sure, stretch out to 8 to 12 weeks and don't go over 10 milligrams. As far as the half-life, from what we know, it's around 24 hours for Ostarine. That means that once daily dosing is totally fine. If you want to get extra credit, twice daily dosing with one of those doses being before you work out is going to be optimal. So if you work out in the morning, that means take half a dosage of Ostarine about 30 minutes to an hour before you work out, and take the other half at night before you go to bed. Just reverse that if you work out at night. Take half dose in the morning and the other half 30 minutes to an hour before you work out at night. Ostarine during PCT, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this, but I get asked a lot, you know, can I use Ostarine during a PCT? Let's say you're coming off of a test cycle or a D-ball cycle or you know, something like that, and your testosterone's nuked. Can you take Ostarine during PCT to retain muscle mass? There's one YouTuber in particular that I know of that advocates for this. To be honest, I'm not going to say his name. He's a total buffoon, and he really doesn't know what he's talking about. It's totally unproven, and it most likely will make your PCT worse if you take Ostarine during the post-cycle therapy. Your goal of PCT is to get your testosterone levels back to normal and to rebuild those building blocks that create testosterone in the body. So why would you want to suppress your testosterone levels while you're in PCT? It doesn't make any sense to me. If you're dead set on following this guy's advice, sure, do it. You know, it's your body, your choice, but don't go over 10 milligrams. It's unnecessary. If all you're trying to do is retain muscle mass and you're not, you know, too worried about building muscle during PCT, don't go over 10 milligrams. It's not worth it. You're going to keep yourself, you know, suppressed, and you're not going to have a good PCT. Your better options are MK677 and Cardarine, or even better, using them both together. They're very synergetic. They work great together. MK677 is going to skyrocket your IGF and HGH levels in the body, and Cardarine is going to prevent any kind of fat gain that you might experience from PCT. Where to buy Ostarine? So guys, I don't know how else to say this. SARMs are faked all the time. We have lab tested many different companies, many different products, and what we found from looking at the industry is that an estimated 75% of the SARMs on the market today are either bunk, which means they're just fake, or they're underdosed drastically, or they're spiked with anabolic steroids like D-ball and Superdraw. And if you want to take steroids, fine, but do it the right way, and don't spend all this money on SARMs only to get a cheap alternative of steroids that are just mixed into a liquid. You're going to have side effects, and you're not going to be able to prepare for them. If you want to take steroids, do it the right way and know what you're taking. But you don't want to be buying SARMs and taking them and saying, oh, well, they're steroids, they work the same way. You're going to screw your body up. So, you know, be educated and do it the right way. Our recommendation is to check our source list. We update it every single month, and we will tell you who's producing real stuff and who's selling shit, because there's tons of companies that are selling bunk SARMs, and you don't want to deal with those companies, I promise you. You're just going to waste your money. So check our source list. I'll pop the link in the description, and that updates every single month. So it's always fresh. You'll always know who's selling the good stuff. Common questions, just real quick. How do I measure liquid Ostarine solution? So you get a bottle of Ostarine, probably 30 milliliters, 25 milligrams per milliliter. Let's say you want to take 25 milligrams. Pretty simple. It's a milliliter a day. So half a milliliter in the morning, half at night. if you want to, let's say it's 20 milligrams per milliliter, and you want to dose 30 milligrams per a day. So, 1 milliliter would be 20 milligrams. You still need to take another half milliliter to get to 30. So 1.5 milliliters per day for that 30 milligram dose. And if you want to do half and half, that would be 0.75 milliliters in the morning and the other 0.75 at night. Totally dependent on who you get your SARMs from and what the concentrations are. How long for Ostarine to kick in? Depends on the person, really. You'll typically feel something on the first dose if you're taking it pre-workout, but you'll really start feeling the effects after about a week. By 4 to 6 weeks, I would say you're going to start seeing the changes in the mirror. By 8 weeks, you're going to look in the mirror and you're going to be like, wow, I see it working. And by 12 weeks, you're not going to want to come off because you're going to see some pretty impressive physique changes. How suppressive is Ostarine? It's not very suppressive at all. In fact, in the studies, it hardly affected testosterone levels, even long term. It's not a very suppressive SARM, just in general. And the people who are getting super suppressed from Ostarine and having those negative side effects with the low energy and the low T levels, those are people who are typically taking it way too long and at higher than recommended dosages. How long does it stay in your system? Rule of thumb is 5 half-lives. So it should be clear within 5 days. With that being said, if you are a drug-tested athlete and you know when your drug test is coming, I would give yourself 2 weeks to a month after your cycle to just totally clear all the metabolites and even inactive metabolites that they might test for. Otherwise, rule of thumb would be 5 days. Do you need a PCT after Ostarine? Usually not, because like I kind of mentioned before, PCT is to restore those building blocks of LH and FSH in the body. Ostarine doesn't suppress those hormones, so you shouldn't need a post-cycle therapy. If you decide to, you can read the protocol that we recommend on the article on our website. If you're following along, you'll probably already see it there. What that is basically tamoxifen, which is Nolvadex, 10 to 20 milligrams, 4 weeks, and then be done with it. You don't want to be going around messing with all these other PCT drugs because typically you're just going to have side effects that are worse than having a suppressed testosterone level for a few weeks. And then what to stack with Ostarine. There's too many options. I can't go through all of them. If you want to know what to stack with it, check out SARMs.io. We have a whole section. If you go to the top and click stacks, you'll see bulking, cutting, recomp, and strength stacks, and that'll tell you what the best things to stack with Ostarine are. Basically, if you're doing cutting stack Ostarine with like cardarine and S4 andarine, those are great options. If you're bulking, I would do MK677 and Red 140 or LGD. And like I said, you want the full list, go check out the website. So that's about it, guys. I do want to say thank you so much for watching. Really, really big if you guys can like and leave a comment in the description telling us what you think. We do plan to expand the video series. We're going to be doing all the SARMs, all the lesser known SARMs. We'll be taking questions, and eventually we want to start doing peptide write-ups and videos as well. So keep an eye out for that and subscribe, because we're going to be bringing you the most cutting edge stacks, guides, new source reviews, that kind of thing. If you're somebody who's interested in taking SARMs, this is the channel that you want to subscribe to. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions at all, or you just want to leave feedback, drop a comment in the video comment section below, or if you're on the website, scroll down to the bottom, hit that comment section. We will reply to all questions and feedback within a few hours typically. All right, guys, thank you so much. Have a good one.